Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Preferred Provider Training Webinar. My name is Carolyn Patterson Kemper, and I am the Director over the CMP Certification Program and oversee the Preferred Provider Program. I just want to take a moment to thank you all for spending your next hour with us to learn more about the improvements and enhancements we've made to the program over these last several months and to discuss how we can continue partnering together in the program. But before we begin, I'd like to introduce the EIC team responsible for managing the program behind the scenes. Caitlin O'Malley, who many of you probably have already interacted with, manages our inbox, and Rob Haas is our IT expert who helps troubleshoot some of the technical issues you may have. So let's take a moment to go over what we'll discuss today. We'll talk about the benefits of being part of the EIC Preferred Provider Program. We'll show you how to navigate the CRM platform known as Learning Builder to renew your preferred provider agreement for 2026. We'll walk you through the process of submitting a program, also called activity or event that you would seek CE credits for. We'll demonstrate the enhanced way to upload your attendee rosters after you've had your event, and we'll share updates to the 2026 program. I also suggest that you use the chat to ask questions, which we'll try to answer towards the end of the webinar, and we will be sharing the slide deck shortly after the webinar. The goal of the EIC Preferred Provider Program is to make sure CMP professionals have access to a variety of quality continuing education opportunities and that they receive their CE credits easily for their participation in your events or activities or webinars or programs. And it makes your programs more attractive to them, knowing that if they attend, they'll receive CE credits. But we're always looking for organizations to partner with who can align with our product offerings and programs to offer to the CMP community. So becoming a CMP preferred provider reflects your organization's commitment to providing education to allow CMP professionals to earn or maintain their CMP certification or CMP HC certification. As a provider, you'll receive the following benefits. Your education events approved by EIC will be listed in our directory, which is on our EIC website. You'll be listed as a 2026 preferred provider on our website. You'll also have access to marketing copy and program logos that you can use to promote your event. And EIC can promote your continuing education opportunities to the CMP professionals and candidates. You'll also have the ability to load your attendance list directly into the CMP's profiles within Learning Builder, allowing them to seamlessly apply for the CMP exam or recertify. So we'll talk about how to get started in renewing your 2026 Preferred Provider Agreement. It's helpful to know, as I mentioned before, that the name of the platform we use to manage all preferred provider accounts, as well as individual CMP profiles, is called Learning Builder. To access the Preferred Provider portal within Learning Builder, you would first visit the EIC website at eventscouncil.org. Then you would log into the CMP login that will take you to the next page, and it's highlighted here. The login will then take you to this page, which allows you to choose an account. Now, if an organization doesn't already have an account and you're considered a new preferred provider, we would need to create an organizational account. Then we would need to identify your primary point of contact and establish an individual account and link those two accounts together. Learning Builder also requires a dummy email address to serve as your primary email, and no two accounts can have the same primary email address. The dummy email address also serves as a unique identifier on your preferred provider account. Now, when we set up the primary email address on the preferred provider account, we'll make sure that that email address receives notifications. But several emails can be listed on your preferred provider account on the staff page to manage your account. And the individuals listed as staff members will be able to switch back and forth between their individual account and the organizational account that you see here. After choosing the organizational account, to access the 2026 Preferred Provider Agreement, you'll then click on Applications and Transcripts. The Preferred Provider application means this is your 2026 Preferred Provider Agreement. Currently, they are not uploaded to our system. They are in legal review, and we will notify you when they do become available. Then you click on Enter Details to start your application. Now, to download your preferred provider agreement, which will live within your individual preferred provider account, you click on the words Preferred Provider Agreement in the left column. Then you want to review the information on this screen, download the agreement, sign it, and then hit Upload. When you hit Submit, your application goes into a queue for review. Then it will be reviewed by an EIC administrator. This review process typically takes 2 to 3 weeks. Once your application has been reviewed, then you'll receive an email notification to go in and pay your fees. Here's a brief summary of all the steps that we just discussed. The next topic is on how to submit a program, event, or activity. The CMP International Standards is the body of knowledge that forms the foundation of the CMP program and the CMP exam. The standards define and categorize the skills and competencies a CMP candidate needs to be successful. The standards were updated earlier this year. Now, as preferred providers, it's really important that your education, your programs, your events, etc., that you offer align with these CMP International Standards. Providing a title or just the name of the session is not enough. The activity descriptions should be industry specific. As a preferred provider, once you complete your application and you pay your provider fee, is when you'll be eligible to submit continuing education activities for pre-approval and before your event takes place. You can submit activities only for the calendar year that you've paid your provider fee. Defined as face-to-face conferences, webinars, which can be either live or on demand, classes, or individual sessions. In order for the activity to qualify for CE credits, the subject matter of the activities must relate to one of the 12 CMP International Standards. The session must be at least 30 minutes long, and the content must be industry specific. Industry specific, according to our CMP handbook, is defined as and refers to training that's needed that's not only relevant to our field, but also specifically tailored for industry professionals. Activities that aren't accepted for CE credits would include CMP study groups, sessions that are minimum less than 30 minutes long, meal functions or happy hours that do not have an educational component, or exhibit hall hours. Now, to begin creating and submitting an activity within Learning Builder, you'll navigate to the menu to admin. Then you'll see a drop-down menu that says activities. You want to click on activities. Here's the add activity button. Highlight it here to begin creating the activity. When you click on add activity, then you'll come to this screen that requires you to select the drop-down menu under activity type, which allows you to select an option that most aligns with your activity or event. Typically, it will say continuing education pre-approved, and you continue to fill out the remaining fields. When you hit continue, the system will automatically create what's called an activity ID number specifically for that activity. Now, this is the field where you want to be as descriptive as possible by entering all of the information in the field, including the start and end date and time of your activity. If your event has a URL, we encourage you to enter it here. Also, be descriptive by providing a description of the event. And under the number of continuing education hours requested, CE credits are based on an 8-hour workday, allowing up to 8 hours of CEs per day for one single event. If your event is over 1 hour, you also want to upload an agenda that breaks down the sessions, the descriptions of the sessions, start, end dates, end times, offered per hour. It's not enough to just say I'm offering a 1-day event from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. without providing these details. Then you hit next. And this next page requires you to review the terms and policies of the program, attest by selecting yes, and you hit submit. Once you submit your activity, it'll go into your queue for review, and an EIC administrator will review and approve the activity. The primary email address on the account will receive an email notification of that approval, and the review process typically takes 2 to 3 weeks. When creating and submitting an activity for a multi-session event, the steps are the same, but we also require completion of the multi-session Excel spreadsheet that outlines hour by hour all of the same information, including the exact start and end date and time per session, number of CE hours you're seeking for that session, title and description, which domain the sessions are tied to, and the key learning objectives or outcomes the participant will take away from attending. In order to obtain this Excel spreadsheet, you would need to reach out to this email address to request the template. Now, we encourage you as the preferred provider to communicate to your attendees the importance of creating an EIC account before your event takes place. And here is suggested language that you can use in your know before you go email. You'll see here that it encourages the attendee to open up their EIC profile account with the same email address they use to register for your event. This is really important because after your event takes place and after you upload your attendee rosters, they will easily be able to claim their CE credits within their individual CMP profiles. Now we'll hear from Caitlin, who will walk us through uploading your attendance rosters.
Hey everyone, thanks for joining us. Before we move on from this slide, and I thank you, Carolyn, for clicking through for me. A couple questions that are in the chat. There can be multiple people that are staff members on your account so that it's not one person's responsibility if they want to manage the account, receive updates through email, or upload attendance or sessions. So yes, there can be multiple people on the account. The minimum amount of CE that you can award for a session is a half hour, which is 0.5. And the email address that you can always find information from is the info at or the preferred providers at eventscouncil.org. So thank you all for joining, and let's go. All right, so for lists of any size, you can see here in this screenshot that whether you're already in this section or you're in the main part of your profile, you will have this blue bar at the top and if you hover over provider and go to data import, you can reach the place where you're going to upload your roster. You will come to this page. You kind of have to click again. That's just how the system works. So if you click activity upload, it'll bring you to the next step. And you can see here that you can email us for the template, or you can download from this page. It's kind of small because of how we had to format this, but there is an option to download the template. Please always remember it has to be a CSV file. An Excel file will error out. So please download that template, enter in the correct all the fields, and then you're going to re-upload the file. You'll come to this validating page, which is just telling you we're working on it, basically, and it'll continue to populate and tell you the progress as it goes through the document that you've submitted. It will then tell you how many of the files have been accepted. So basically how many people have accounts with the EIC, with the email address they registered for your event with. I think Carolyn already said it's very important that people register for events with the same email addresses they have with the EIC in order for you to award them credit. If for some reason they don't, they do have the opportunity to claim it. It is not all lost. They can always go onto their application and claim it themselves. But we, of course, do encourage that we make it easier for them, and you upload the list and their credit appears. So you can see that it says 157 of this document were accepted, and you will have to click process this book, I think it says, sorry. But you will have to click that process button at the top. And then it'll show you, it'll verify. You do have the opportunity to download the roster of people who were not accepted if you would like to reach out to them and just tell them either, hey, you can claim your credit if you go in with your email address, FYI, you didn't register with the same, or if you want to do any reach out for us, we always appreciate you encouraging people to make an EIC account. And then all of your attendees that do get awarded the CE will get this email. Obviously, it'll have their name in there. It'll have your event name. If your event is 1 CE or less, so if it's 1 or a half, it will just automatically be applied to their accounts. If it is more than that, people will have to claim, just because we know, you could submit for 8 hours, but someone comes to your conference and they have other meetings and they only actually attend 5 hours. So we just want to give them the opportunity to claim the appropriate amount of CE.
Perfect.
Back to Carolyn.
Thanks, Caitlin. So next we'll talk about the enhancements and improvements we're making to the 2026 Preferred Provider Program. The 2026 agreements will be due no later than March 31st, 2026 to avoid additional fees. And our goal is to upload the agreements into your EIC accounts by early December. Again, I mentioned earlier that they're currently under review on our legal team for approval. We'll also require that you submit your activities no less than 30 days before your event start date to allow the EIC team to review and approve the activities. In the event there are questions or there's data that's missing, then it allows us time to respond back to you to obtain that information in a timely manner. Also, later in the year, we want to introduce an enhanced program and a professional development tool within Learning Builder called the Reflective Practice Exercise, or RPE. It will allow CMPs to identify their gaps between their current skills and their career goals, and it connects those gaps to helpful educational resources offered by you, our preferred providers. So there's more to come on this. And micro-credential programs are becoming more and more popular. They consist of specialized certifications, recognitions, or certificate programs that offer in-depth training in specific areas for CMP professionals, and they offer a lifelong learning pathway. Because they involve a really in-depth learning experience, from reviewing syllabuses and assignments to assessments and potentially other interactive features, we will require a separate review process and a separate fee for CE credit eligibility. And we want to offer an online preferred provider toolkit so that you can easily access assets such as the multi-session template that we spoke of and marketing materials. We also will be incorporating roughly a 3.5% price increase for next year, so for budgeting purposes. So this is a great opportunity to provide and allow questions. But again, I want to reiterate who your team members are for assistance, and want to thank you for your time, and we will now address your questions.
Okay, great. So I'm back to ask Carolyn the questions that have come in. Again, thank you for attending and being active in your preferred provider status and program. We appreciate you. So there is a question that is asking if there's a maximum number of CEs that one program can be submitted for. So if it's a large conference, is there a maximum?
No, but there is a maximum per day if it's a single event, 8 hours.
Perfect. I know in the old system there were some issues, so I'm sure that's why people are asking that there was limits within the system, but now we're good to go. Can we submit 15-minute increments after the half hour? So if someone has a 45-minute session, can it be submitted as 0.75?
Yes.
Great.
Yep.
I know you mentioned fees. They're going through legal. We have a couple questions about that. So thank you all for being interested. We understand your budgeting, but we are working on it. We will let you know as soon as possible about those fees. We are also working to get your contracts ready for 2026. And as Carolyn said previously, we will be sharing as soon as possible when you are able to fill those out. Another question that came in is about 2025 events. So if somebody still hasn't turned in their application for 2025 for whatever reason, are they able to do that prior to January 1st of 2026 to submit previous programs?
Yes. So we are
Okay.
still accepting 2025 preferred provider agreements, but keep in mind it's just for this year. And if you do have an upcoming event next month, or yeah, we're still accepting, but just know that it's just for 2025.
All right. And then, yes, the answer is yes. We will be sharing out the recording of this session and the guide, the slides, so that you have a reference that you can go back to and you don't have to listen to the whole 30 minutes of us talking again. You can always go back to the materials. Next question is, what if there's a conference where there's multiple sessions at the same time? How do you submit that?
So the grid within the Excel spreadsheet breaks it down. It will allow you to uh, display the number of credits needed for that particular session. So you can have multi-sessions at the same concurrently for your multi-session event, but that's where the Excel spreadsheet comes in, and we're happy to share that in advance so you can see what that looks like. But it's broken down. It's already set with formulas in there, and it's all laid out. It's just a matter of completing it in its entirety, and it's a seamless process.
Yep. So we're happy to share, and I'm sure we can include that in our follow-up email just so that you have it for your reference. We've seen large amounts of sessions before, and it's worked great for us. Sorry, just reading. For a webinar attendance in Zoom, there's a question about which type of attendance verification that we would prefer, if it's just the attendance monitor, electric scanner, sign in, sign out, or if they should select other.
Um, that's a good question. Now, is this for the CMP individual or for the preferred provider activity?
For
Just
preferred provider, yeah, that you have to select one of those drop down. Is there a preference, or does it just depend on the provider and their?
I think it just depends on the session. I mean, it just there may be an option. Um, there should be an option that says webinars. So that's what you select and provide as much description as you possibly can. I hope that answers.
Awesome. So another question is that for people that are members of the EIC, is the discounted rate already reflected in their account, or does something need to be applied or communicated so that they get the appropriate rate?
Great question. So when the preferred provider agreements are populated into your account, you don't have to do any calculation. It'll automatically calculate your member pricing. So, great question though.
Perfect. And then for the micro credentialing, people are just wondering, is that a document that will come out in the future? Will there be another session on it? And kind of any estimate of when that will be available?
I don't have a timeline on availability for either that or the RPE, reflective practice exercise, because for one, we have to make sure that our CRM platforms can incorporate what we need to do within their system. There's also legal review. There's also finalizing the structure and pricing. So it's a whole process. It's just forthcoming, but I don't have an exact timeline for you today.
Great, perfect. To be honest, do not have this document handy and don't expect that you do either, Carolyn, but should you have it, somebody did ask if we could go through the multi-session document submission. I don't have it up. I tried quickly to search for it, to be honest, and didn't find one that wasn't filled out already. So
Yeah, let's see if I
basically what the document
can.
is asking for, well, Carolyn maybe has it handy because we weren't prepared for this one, but that's okay. It's asking for the session name, the speaker, the description, the domain it would apply to, the times that it takes place during. So, 12 to 1, 4:30 to 5:30, how many CEs are expected. And I think that's all.
Yeah.
It's pretty simple. It's basically a reflection of what you would expect to submit for an individual session. It's just instead of making you submit for individual 57 times, we created a document so that you could submit that one and then just put in the description of your one submission, Excel attached with all the necessary information. And we wanted to make a template just so that everyone is submitting what we're expecting. So I know you're looking, and I know we wanted to see a
No,
visual, but
I
it's
have
basically the
it.
same thing as you would submit for an individual session.
Yep. I can try to share my screen again if that's
Sure,
okay.
that was super quick. I'm
Okay.
impressed.
So, I just look at it frequently, so I had it handy. All right, let me try to do this again. All right. Okay, so are we able to see
Yeah,
it? All right, so basically, like Caitlin mentioned, I mean, it's broken down up on this menu, line one, the date, the time, number of CE hours that you're seeking, the title, description, the approval status, that's for us, the domain that it's tied to, and key takeaways. Now, I'll scroll up because in column A allows you to um, put in the for day one, like how many, like if you have concurrent sessions at the same time, 9 to 10, 9 to 10, 9 to 10 on day one, it allows you to populate it here in column B. And then the same information applies on day two, same thing. Okay. So I hope that helps.
Perfect. I think that's exactly what people were looking for. Glad that you were able to find it because I did not mention that we do ask for those takeaways or those objectives of the session. So great that you had it. So there's a question about the maximum number of rosters to upload at once.
No limit.
Yeah, I mean, we would say per event you could upload a roster. And a new feature of the system is there's an override. So if you upload a session and you accidentally put one CE for an entire conference, and then you're like, oh shoot, that's wrong. They should get 10. It was just a typo. You can re-upload and it will override that so that people will get the correct amount of CE. Okay, so a question about on-demand course. What time should we put in there if it says if you're offering something on demand? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, so there's an option, a drop down option that allows because an on-demand webinar is not time bound, it allows for it doesn't allow it bypasses the dates, the times rather. But you have to select the drop down for on-demand webinar so it can bypass that feature and allow for the credits to be accessible for an extended period of time.
Yes. Awesome. All right. Well, I don't see any more questions. If anyone wants to sneak one in really quick, you're always welcome to email the preferred provider box or the info box. Email us, let us know if you have any questions. And Carolyn, I'll leave it to you to wrap up. I don't see anything else coming in.
Okay, well, again, thank you all for your participation, your time today. And as Caitlin mentioned, if there are any further questions, feel free to reach out to us. We will be sending this slide deck along with the Excel spreadsheet to the multi-session event out to you shortly afterwards. And we will also notify you when the 2026 preferred provider agreements have been uploaded to your accounts. So thank you, and I hope you all have a good rest of your day.